Alright guys, so welcome to my next video on pie chart questions. So in this video, I am going to give you a special technique that you can use to solve any pie chart question. So within 5 seconds after seeing any question, specifically pie chart question, right? So you will start writing without thinking about anything. That too within 5 seconds, okay? Though this technique will help you with other graphs as well, in this video, other graphs, I mean other charts and other diagrams as well. In this video, we are only going to talk about pie charts. So let's see how to read pie charts. I assume you already know what pie charts are, aren't you? Okay, so let me explain. Let me explain pie chart quickly so that you won't forget it for at least next 100 years. All right. So basically, pie chart is a circle. Let me just draw it here. So pie chart is a circle divided into segments. Pie chart is a circle divided into segments to show proportions. This proportion or these proportions can be indicated in percentages. 25%, 25%, for example 30% and 20%. Okay, so basically let's understand this with the help of a very simple example. So this is you can see on the screen, this is the score chart of Virat Kohli in, let's say, in year 2018. Okay, so let's assume he scored 100 runs in that year. Okay, so in 2018 Virat Kohli scored 100 runs. Okay, so just assume. Okay, so out of 100 runs, as you can see in this diagram, so we have 68% runs scored in front of the wicket and 32% behind the wicket. So we know that if we picture this data, so let's say you have this so you have this information. Virat Kohli scored 100 runs in 2018 and he scored 68 runs front of wicket and 32 runs behind the wicket. Right. So now we have to picture this data on a pie chart. So if we are going to picture this data on a pie chart, or if we are going to present this data on pie chart, so then we will present something like this. 32% runs scored are behind the wicket and 68 runs scored are scored in front of the wicket, right? So you see a circle divided into segments to show proportion. Simple circle that's divided into segments to show proportion in the form of percentages, right? So if Virat Kohli has scored total 100 runs, so that whole circle will be divided according to the percentages, right? So here he scored 68% in front of the wicket and 32% behind the wicket, right? So let's say he got 40 runs on the leg side. So 32 runs behind the wicket, 40 runs on leg side, and what's left? I think 38%. No, 28 runs in front of wicket. Okay, so now that means how our pie chart is gonna look. So it's gonna look something like this. So we will have 28% front of wicket and this segment 40%. No, it won't looks, yeah, it would, I think, look something like this. Okay, so 40% on leg side, right? So it would have different color in that case. Okay, So there would be one more segment, as you can see on the screen. There is one more segment on the leg side, and it would cover 40% of total area. So you see, simply we are dividing into sectors based on percentages. So when someone looks at the chart, within 1 second, he can see Virat Kohli is scoring maximum runs on the leg side. In this case, had leg side had not been there, it would have been front of the wicket. Right. So that's the main reason why pie charts come handy. Okay, so you can quickly analyze. You don't need to look at the different data figures and then analyze why Virat Kohli is scoring maximum runs. Looking at this graph, you know he's scoring maximum runs in front of the wicket or on the leg side, right? So now I hope you guys have got an idea about pie charts. Let me sip my green tea. All right. So now, not only for pie charts, while attempting any task 1 question, you just need to keep one thing in your mind. Let me just write down here for your reference. So while attempting task 1, you need to keep in your mind one simple thing. What's that? You just need to write data figures in simple plain English in your report. So report writing is nothing but writing data figures in simple plain English language. Right? That's it. You don't need to analyze the graph to see why it is behaving like that. Now in this case, you don't need to analyze why Virat Kohli is scoring maximum in front of the wicket. That's not our job. We just need to see Virat Kohli is scoring maximum runs in front of the wicket, and then we are just going to write Virat Kohli is scoring 68% in front of the wicket, he is scoring 32% behind the wicket. That's it. Right? So simply look at the graph. So find the main and specific trends that I'm just going to reveal in the next few minutes. Right? So how to look at the graph, I'm going to explain in next few minutes. Okay. So just write. So just look at the graph, find the main and specific trends, and start writing your report. That's it. It's as simple as I just explained. This whole process, looking at the graph and analyzing what it represents, it should not take more than 1 to 2 minutes. And I'll show you how you can read a pie chart within 5 seconds, and then see the trends in next few seconds, and then just start writing your report. Okay, so now let me show you the technique which you can use to read any pie chart in seconds. Okay. So what you need to do is, as this video is only for pie charts, I'll talk about pie chart only. Okay, so the moment you see a pie chart, you need to first write topic sentence. I'll explain you with example also. Okay, you just need to first write the topic sentence, and then you have to create one hierarchy. Attribute 1, attribute 2, if it's there, elements. Now you need to write the topic sentence, and then you need to write the attributes. So what are these attributes? So as you can see, I have written here attribute 1, attribute 2. So these are nothing but the attributes based on which the graph is being compared. For example, you have one pie chart in, let's say, that represents 1955, and you have another pie chart that tells you information about 2010. So you see, there is one attribute on which your pie charts are being compared, right? So year is going to be that attribute. So attribute 1 is going to be year, right? And then you will write here 1955, 2010. So this technique is going to help you to read pie chart quickly, to read and understand pie chart within 5 seconds, right? So that's why I'm explaining you this. Now let's talk about elements. So what are elements? So elements are nothing but the labeled components that are being compared in the chart, or items labeled for each sector. So as you can see in this example, so we have behind the wicket, front of the wicket. These are your elements, right? So here we do not have any attribute, we have only single pie chart, and it's very rare case you will get single pie chart, you will get at least 2 pie charts. Okay, in this case there's no attribute, right? You just have elements that are being compared, and I don't think so even if it requires you to understand this simple straightforward pie chart. But in case there are multiple pie charts, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, multiple pie charts, in that case you need this technique. So now you'll write one attribute 1 here if 2 charts are being compared across years, right? And then you have to write elements here, right? So elements are nothing but labeled components that are the items labeled for each sector. I am going to explain this with the help of very simple example. So as you can see here, so we have got this example. So chart below shows information about household percentage of spending on essential goods in China for the year 1995 and 2011. Now here, can you see we have got only one attribute, that is years, right? So you'll write topic sentence, it's going to be percentage of household budget for necessities in China, or you can just write household budget, okay, just for your understanding. So you'll write here household expenditure, and then you have got only one attribute, that is years, and you will write here what 2 years are there, 1995 and 2011. So you'll write 1950, I think that's 1995, 95 and 2011. So you'll write these 2 attributes, and then you'll write elements here. That's food, then we have clothing, and you'll write this on the piece of paper that you'll get in exam. Okay, medicine and household goods. It's very difficult for me to write here because of this mic, otherwise I would have written it in better shape. So household goods. Now after creating or after making this hierarchy, now you just need to see, okay, so I have got these elements that are being compared over this attribute. So I have got food, clothing, medicine, household goods in 1995, and then I have got some percentage in 2011, and I just need to see how this percentage for these elements has changed over the years 1995 and 2011. That's it. So we will make any pie chart look so simple with this technique. Okay, so I'll show you one more example. So you see we have got 4 pie charts here. Now looking at this example, it looks so complex to understand, but at the end these are all data figures. Okay, so now what you can do here is, so you see we have got household spending patterns in 2 countries. So I'll just write household spending patterns. Now tell me, what is the first attribute here? First attribute is obviously years. So we have got 1980, and then we have got 2008, and then second attribute is countries. We have got 2 countries here, UK and New Zealand. Okay, and then we have got different elements. Let me just write down here. So you have got food. For your reference, you can write one word also, utility, like this. Transport, leisure, and then other. Now you know these elements are being compared over these attributes. So we have got 1980 and then we have got some other proportion for UK in 1980 and then 2008, and then I also have got the elements, a proportion for these elements for 1980 and 2008 for New Zealand as well. Okay, and of course I can also compare in 1980. I can take these two attributes, not these two. I can take this attribute countries, and then I can see, I can compare in 1980 the proportion of these elements in UK and proportion of these elements in New Zealand. So now this complex looking pie chart looks so simpler, right? So that's how that's the main use of this technique, and this technique is going to help you a lot if the graph or chart is very complex, right? So you see, you just need to consider these elements and see and then compare over these different attributes. So in this case we have years and then we have countries, right? So like this we can have different attributes in your case. Okay, so now how to write overview looking at this hierarchy. So overview is the most important paragraph of your report. Okay, it's like backbone of your report. Now I'm not going to go into detail about how to write an overview while writing your report. I have created one dedicated course on Ielts where I explain everything in detail. For example, for task 1, I'll explain you how to write each statement in your report and what should be structure for your report, right? So statement by statement I explain everything. I literally explain what you need to write in statement number 1, statement number 2, and so on, with some ready to use lines as well. You just need to copy and paste those lines in your exam. So you'll find the link for the course in the description. Okay, so for overview, so let me just quickly explain you. So for overview, I basically explain there, while writing an overview or while writing the overview of your report, you have to include 2 statements, or you can write your overview in 2 statements. Now statement number 1, is going to talk about the general overall trend of your pie chart. Okay, so general overall trend means, let me just explain you with the help of very simple example. Okay, so we can use this example. So general overall trend means if you can see any overall trend considering all the elements at one, you can consider all these elements and you can analyze if you're able to see any general trend. Okay, so like in this case, I can see there have been significant changes in the percentages for all the elements from year 1995 to 2011. You can see some changes in all the elements, right? So you can just write there were significant changes in all 4 categories over the years, something like that. You see, you're considering all these elements, and then you can see there have been changes. There are significant changes you can see on the in the pie chart, right? So there are significant changes in all these elements, in all 4 categories, in all 4 elements over the years 1995 and 2011. You can see some significant changes. So for example, this food 68%, it decreased to 59%, and then household goods increased from 9% to 12%. So overall there are some changes, right? So that's what you need to write in your statement number 1. Okay, if I have to give you one more example. Okay, so I have this example as well. So you can see this is the revenue sources and expenditures of USA charity in 1 year 2016. So these are just random examples I got from internet. I just took this snapshot and pasted it here. So revenue sources and expenditures of USA charity in 1 year. Okay, so this is our revenue sources, and this chart is going to be your about expenditures. So now you can see overall, you see here the total revenue, and then you have total expenditure they have provided you. So you can write something like this in statement number 1. Okay, overall it can be seen that total revenue sources just exceeded expenditures, or total value of revenue sources just exceeded the expenditures. Okay, you see total number, you are considering all these elements and then these two pie charts, and then you have to write one generalized statement. Okay, so this was about statement number 1. Now let's see what we have to write in statement number 2. So let me just write down here general trend. Now okay, let's discuss this example as well. We have, okay, so now here I have got elements, then I've got these two attributes. Okay, so let's look at these 4 pie charts from a generalized view. Okay, again there are some changes there, right? You can see some significant changes, so you can write something like this. Overall it can be seen okay, so this is household spending patterns. Okay, overall it can be seen that percentage of spending on all categories in both countries, UK and New Zealand, has significantly changed over the years. Okay, so I'm writing general statement, all these elements, right? So overall it can be seen, what did I say? Okay, yeah, so overall it can be seen percentage of spending on all categories in both countries has significantly changed over the years. So I considered all these categories, all these elements, and just wrote one statement. Simple. That's going to be your statement number 1. Now how you are going to write body paragraphs based on overview, that we are going to discuss in some other video, or you can see the course link for the course below, and then you can find more information there. Okay, so let's talk about statement number 2. Now statement number 2. So in statement number 2, either you can write general info about superlatives or general info about specific trends. Let me just write on here. Now what do I mean by general statement? So that means you're not going to include the data figures in your overview. Okay, I hope you all know that we are not going to give or add any data figures in our overview. Overview is just gonna tell the overview, right? So yeah, so we were talking about superlatives and specific trends. Okay, so now what does superlatives mean and what does specific trends mean? Let's talk about specific trends first. Okay, so specific trends mean you have to observe if there are any peaks, any dips, or any fluctuations in the diagram that make it more specific, or that those are making this diagram more specific, right? Any specific dips, any peaks, or any fluctuations. Now here in pie chart, if you basically have to observe, you have got the elements, right? So you have written down all the elements. You have to see which elements have got maximum increase or decrease if you compare them with other attributes. Now if I have to explain you here, so you can see, okay, let's talk about this. Yeah, so you see the clothing element this not clothing, I think that's medicine, I guess. Yeah, so you see medicine has increased from 4% to 11%, which is a significant increase when compared to other elements, right? So then here also you can see in UK, food and drink, right? So spending on food and drink has significantly decreased from 23% to 13%. That's also a sharp decrease if I compare it with other elements, right? So that's how you need to find the specific trends. All right, so this was about specific trends. Now if I have to explain you superlatives. So superlative is basically a term used to check highest, low, least, most, fewest data values. Highest, lowest, fewest data values. For example, which country accounted for the most, or which country accounted for the fewest visitors. So if you have got a pie chart where you have different countries and how and the number of visitors visited each country and to travel to each country. So you have got this pie chart, and then there simply just like other pie charts, you have got sectors there. So now which country accounted for the most and which country accounted for the fewest visitors. And if I have to explain you in this example, so you see we have got household goods, right? It's 68% in 1995 and 59% in 2011. So that has got the maximum weightage, right? And here also you can see in New Zealand, food and drink has not food and drink, that's utility bills, have got the maximum weightage, right? So that's how you have to find the superlatives. So state number 1, you are going to write general trend, you considering all the elements, and statement number 2, you can either write on superlatives or you can find the specific trends, as I just explained, any sharp decrease, any sharp increase, or any dips, fluctuations. Superlative, just see what which sector has got the maximum weightage, and then you can write your statement number 2 on either superlatives or specific trends, or you can even combine both also. That's completely up to you. You can write 3 statements also. You can write first general trend about all the elements, and then you can write about the superlatives, and then you can write about the specific trends. It's completely up to you. Okay, so that's how you can read and start writing a report as soon as you see pie chart in exam. Alright, so if you guys have got some knowledge from this video, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more informational videos on IELTS. Guys, I'm on a mission. I'm literally on a mission to make IELTS as easy as copy and paste for you all. So please support me and motivate me so that I can make more videos like this. If you wish to join my course on mastering IELTS, you'll find the link for the course in the description. So thanks guys for watching this video. I'll see you in my next video.